Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a top 5 scariest mythological creatures. Now, this is obviously a very subjective list, so let me know in the comments down below which mythological creatures you think are scary and maybe ones that you think should have made it on here but didn't. Let's get started. Starting off at number 5, we have the Kitsune. Now, the Kitsune are from Japanese mythology, and they're kind of like a trickster spirit, usually taking the form of a fox. Now, these aren't just regular old foxes, no. These foxes can actually speak and they can transform into human form at will. They're also known for having multiple tails. Now, the more tails a kitsune has, the more powerful they are, the older they are. The least amount of tails any kitsune can have is like two. That's kind of the base form, I guess you could say. But some of them have had as many as 12 tails, and their powers grow depending on how long they live. Like I said, it depends on how long they live, how many followers they have, and how much power they gather over time. Now, some of them are more neutral, but most of them do align themselves either way, helping whichever side they're on out. They also often act as servants to the gods or the demons, depending on what they side with. So if you happen to die while under the influence or the curse of the kitsune, then your soul will never find peace because it's trapped inside of this fox demon thing. Their eyes are always glowing an eerie red color, and they have sharp teeth and claws. And sometimes when they're in their human form, their eyes will glow, and you can see the fox ears peeking out underneath their hair. A lot of times they end up possessing people, usually women. And then they'll use their body as a vessel to go out into the human world and do all sorts of mischief. They'll play tricks on you, they'll hide things from you, and they'll basically try to drive you insane before they even fully take over. Not to mention the fact that they mess with your mind a lot of times before they possess you. Now, even though they can take on a human form, I still think they look pretty creepy. That's why they're number 5 on this list. Moving on to number 4, we have the rake. Now, the rake is a creature that I talked about in a previous video, but since it's a very general topic, I feel like I can talk about it again. This one comes from Slavic folklore, and it's said to be this tall, gaunt, emaciated looking creature that walks on two legs, and it has these long arms with razor sharp claws. It's got matted brown hair, big bulging eyes, yellow soulless eyes that stare directly at you. Now, the rake is actually quite hard to spot because it blends in perfectly with trees and foliage. And because of this, you might mistake it for a tree stump or just part of the forest. But then once you get close enough to it, you realize that it's actually moving and it's watching you. You hear it breathing heavily, but when you turn around to face it, it's gone. Now, the rake is actually really hard to get a picture of, but there are a lot of really good descriptions of it. And it definitely looks like something you would not want to encounter while you're re-walking through the woods, especially at night. The rake is truly terrifying. Next up on our list at number 3, we have the Wendigo. Now, this one comes from Native American folklore specifically, and it's said to be this creature that preys on human flesh. It's often depicted as a gigantic humanoid with sharp claws and teeth and glowing red eyes. It's covered in matted fur, usually black or dark brown, and it stands between 6 and 8 feet tall. Now, the Wendigo is usually brought on by severe winters, food shortages, and cannibalism. People would turn into the Wendigo because of the extreme hunger and need for human flesh. And those people who were bitten by the Wendigo wouldn't become Wendigo themselves. Now, if you're ever attacked by a Wendigo, you want to protect yourself by making a cross and holding it up against the Wendigo because it hates the cross and it hates holy symbols. Of course, don't hold the cross too high because if you raise it above your head, then the Wendigo will pounce and get you. If you're able to hold the cross out to the side, then the Wendigo will stop attacking you and it will run away. But that doesn't mean it won't come back. So you have to be prepared for whatever you're facing. Wendigo is definitely one of the most brutal creatures on this list, and it's definitely one of the most evil ones as well. It fits right in. Next up at number 2, we have the basilisk. Now, the basilisk is probably one of the most famous creatures on this list, and it comes from Greek mythology. It's known as the king of all monsters, and is said to be this gigantic serpent-like creature, with the head of a rooster and a crown of spines running down its neck. And its skin is described as being gray and scaly, like almost reptilian. Now this thing is so powerful and so deadly that if you just so happened to glance at it, you would immediately turn to stone. It lives in a swamp, and anyone who comes across it is immediately killed by its poisonous breath. I mean, talk about an evil creature, right? It could kill you without even touching you. I think that's kind of messed up. The basilisk is a true monster, and it's definitely one of the scariest creatures in all of mythology. All you have to do is look at it and boom, you're dead. And finally, at number one, we have the Hydra. Now, the Hydra also comes from Greek mythology, and it's considered to be the most fearsome monster of all. It's a gigantic, multi-headed serpent with poisonous breath and poisonous blood. It's got wings like a bat and razor-sharp talons, and it breathes fire and poison. Now, the heads of the Hydra keep growing back no matter how many times you cut them off. In fact, every time you cut off one of its heads, two new heads grow back in its place. And if that wasn't bad enough, the Hydra's blood is so poisonous that it can rot your entire body in just a few seconds. Now, the only way to kill the Hydra is by cutting off one of its heads and then cauterizing the wound with fire. That's the only way to prevent more heads from growing back in its place. Now, the Hydra was eventually slain by the hero Heracles during one of his labors. But even though he was successful, he barely managed to do it. And even after he did slay the beast, its poison almost killed him. That's how deadly this thing is. And that's why the Hydra is the scariest mythological creature on this list. Now, before I go, I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Bye.